knows that he's not playing against a naive group of athletes. He knows that whether it be in France, whether it be in the EuroLeague, whether it be in Ndoye played with Benfica in Portugal, they have been around European teams. So it'll be interesting for me if they can get a foothold in the game. Senegal could be exciting to watch. The other thing that might be a factor, all the Argentinian fans have stuck around. They're going to back an underdog. They'll be with Senegal.
Oh yes, they will speak a little Wolof if that helps as they face the Greek team. What a game to cap our first night of action, first day of action here in Group B at the World Cup of Basketball. Barousis will jump, and he will jump against Maurice Ndour from Ohio University in the States. Ndour dominates the tip, and Ndiaye takes the ball and hands it over to D'Almeida.
Now the Greek man-to-man defense will have to be technically right on the money. Expect him to go underneath all the ball screens, but
Fai with a three-point shot, and Calathis corrals the rebound. And Calathis, of course, could not join this team because of that Tommy Vaxen suspension that started with the NBA with the Memphis Grizzlies. Vasiliadis, three-pointer.
Well, Vasiliadis in the scouting report says if you leave him open, he scores. He doesn't take threes. When he's open, he makes them. Veteran player. He was so open.
Almeida hounded, almost double-teamed. And there's Barousis occupying space. One of the things he does so well, he is guarding right now Hamadi Ndiaye, but he really is guarding all 5 members of the Senegalese team. Nice cut to the basket, and a dunk, a violent, strong dunk by Hamadi Ndiaye, 27-year-old, playing for Guangxi in the CBA and also for Delaware in the NBA's Development League.
Well, they brought Barousis out the middle, opened it up, and they just cut hard.
Now Barousis uses his girth. Chucks it up, and he makes the basket and collects the foul. That's a veteran move.
Well, it's a clinic of how to be a post. You know, you don't have to be the great athlete. Held holds his space as we get a replay of the finish, and it was made by the fact Barousis rotated out, and that's what we were talking about, the organization, not necessarily athleticism as we get Barousis' clinic of footwork. It's not the athleticism that Greek have to, it's their organization. They put bodies in the right place, they won't have lines to the hoop.
Greece looks to win its first World Cup of Basketball and its 7th appearance. They're still one of the best teams in the world. They won silver to Spain's gold in the World Championship in Saitama, Japan, after beating Team USA and giving Mike Krzyzewski its first and only loss since he came back to head the USA national team as a head coach.
Watershed game, wasn't it, for the United States? That it was
wake-up call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gorgui Dieng misses the shot. Vasiliadis takes a Barousis screen. Over to Printesis. Barousis. Again, oh my goodness, what a drop step, but he can't finish. Dieng with a rebound.
Well, they made him put it on the floor, and his lack of athleticism will be an issue in those scenarios.
But again, left-handed, short.
They brought Barousis out the middle, and they get it deep. They've just got to finish.
He has to go strong to the hoop.
Yeah, just throw it down. He doesn't need to make a touch shot.
No finesse here. Printesis drives, left-handed. Oh! Get used to that. Get used to that, Sevilla. For the next week, if it's not the first, it may be a second or maybe a third wave, you'll see a lot of blocks from this team.
Because the defensive closeout was poor, but the help side is phenomenal. Phenomenal athleticism.
Papanikolaou falls, Calathis misses, and the rebound on the hands of Fai. Here comes Almeida. Lines up the shot, and Faye misses. They really should try to exploit the inside.
Yeah, they can get that shot at any time in their offense. They don't need to take that shot 5 seconds in with Greece back. Greece are masters of being organized in transition. They very rarely give you easy options.
Barousis. Calathis cuts in. Right-handed hook shot against the glass. You talk about a clinic.
Well, it is, and again, only one dribble that time. He was still balanced, didn't have to do too much with it. He is your textbook European big man.
Playing for Real Madrid. Fai looking to pass, looking to find Ndoye. He has to shoot with 1 second to go. Way offline. Up ahead to Printesis. Fancy pass to Papanikolaou. Turns around, faces the basket. Oh, beautiful dipsy-do on the reverse.
And Senegal, I was going to say, did a good job in transition. They got bodies back. Then they just stood and weren't active. And Costas Papanikolaou's done what he's done. Sissy was a very, very talented junior. Be aggressive, get into the glass. Use the ring really well to protect the ball.
Greece is up 7. D'Almeida, short. Bourrousis wraps the rebound.
Bourrousis could have a career night here national team-wise because he's cleaning up on the glass.
He's got 3 rebounds and 5 points.
Yep.
Papanikolaou, another one. This one's short. Here comes D'Almeida. Ooh, wicked pass to Fai. Mohamed, who plays for a Greek team, Egor Panionios.
So static.
Yep. Face-up jumper by Ndiaye. It's good.
Nice
now
touch.
a 5-point lead.
Nice touch. Good-looking jump shot.
Very simple, but effective.
Yeah, and maybe they're almost trying to be too complicated at times.
Galathis. Round inside to Bourrousis. Here comes Ndang. Here comes Bourrousis. Runaway train. Defensive foul. A lot of contact down low.
That's poor defense, though. They were queuing up to block as opposed to going over and rotating, and then Bourrousis kept going, so they were late coming over to try and take away the opportunity to drive.
Nice seal by D'Almeida. Not just a pass, he sealed off 2 players. As we see some substitutions, Pape Badji is in. He plays for Neuchâtel. He's 22 years old. This team averages 28 years of age and 2 meters 2 centimeters. That's 6'7" in the English measure. As we see Printesses with a nice half ball.
That's Princess's play. He's just got these touch shots around the ring.
Beautiful set of touch shots.
And he's another one of these players who's got so much experience. Multiple EuroLeague winner, made big shots in key games, but now he's a leading player as opposed to someone feeding off of Spanoulis.
Jang in the perimeter, sets the screen. D'Almeida has to launch with 3 seconds to go. It's offline. Doesn't even hit the rim. Long pass to Papanikolaou. Inside, the Printesses deflected by Jang. It's now Greece's ball with 17 seconds to shoot. No substitutions yet for Greece. Badji is in for Senegal. Base power forward and center. Galathis, no pick and roll. He throws out the Printesses way off this time, but they get it again. It hadn't touched the rim. It was a smart play by Galathis. This one touches the rim, and Bourrousis gets another chance. They cut the lane, but it's being patrolled. Oh, what a patience! What patience by Bourrousis.
With no pressure on him. And you've got to question the no pressure. You also have to question where was. It wasn't as if Galathis beat people for speed. He just made a smart cut.
Inside out, Fai can't make the shot. Papanikolaou will be playing for the Houston Rockets next year. No way, don't try that one. Says Mohamed Fai.
3-on-1 break, they've got to execute here. And they come up empty, but they draw the foul.
At least they get the foul from Bourrousis.
With their ability and their athleticism, and they've got guys who can shoot that mid-range jump shot, you just want to see them run, keep the game in transition, try and look for some secondary options, trying to get the scenario where they can get the Greeks on closeouts, and they take the timeout. Senegal, they've got a lot to talk about.
They do. They're down 9 with 3:44 to go. The first timeout is called by Sheikh Sarr of Senegal. You talk about bruising tournaments. Africa Basket was a tournament that was, you could look at it this way, it was either offensively challenged or defensively brilliant. The scoring was at a premium. Now the Eurobasket is a situation where if you're not careful like Greece wasn't, you get a couple of losses, you end up 11.
Yeah, oh yeah. And the thing about it is they started that tournament strongly. And they really did. Bruce is getting a little treatment, should we say. I think he may have got a fag as he came down on that baseline move. But they started that tournament, looked like they were a Greek team in control. You know, they had plays like this where they just wait, they get patient, they get movement, and then they just pick you apart with good options.
Especially with Greece, you cannot react. You need to kind of make them uncomfortable. Got way too much time. That's a lesson that Jeng has to learn.
Well, you would hope.
He celebrates.
You would hope Senegal would press them. You would hope Senegal would try and make them put it on the floor. And as long as they rotate it, they can get out to an inside-outside penetration and a kick, because they're quick enough to try and play that way. If they play them in a half-court game, Greece will get options all game.
Doi makes the first shot. Doi is 33 years old. He's a captain of this team, El Hadji Maleke Ndoye. He was born in Dakar, went to Washington Academy in Tennessee, and that's something that's happening more and more often with Senegal. Instead of trying to go to France and develop players there, they're sending them to high school in the United States, and specifically a couple of academies we'll talk about later in the broadcast. Then they're going to go to college in the U.S.
He went to Furman, didn't he? I think he was at
did
Furman.
to Furman, yes, yep. Indeed. Played for 4 seasons in Furman in the NCAA. Long shot, no good. Rebounded by Baji.
And that's the other aspect you'd like them to see. You'd like to see them crash the glass on every chance they get, because this Greek team is going to have to work to keep them away from any offensive rebounds.
Long three by Ndoye, no good. It goes out of bounds. It belongs to Greece with 3:14 to go and an 8-point lead for Hellas. Jake Sarr, widely respected as part of I would call him in Latin a primus inter pares, first among equals. His assistant coaches are Raoul Toupin and Sir Parfait Avijon, and they basically all went to the same clinic, so Sarr obviously gets everybody else's respect and gets the job. Papa Nicolau, blocked again by Jeng. It's just not going to be easy down low.
And you can't go in there unless you've got space to attack, or unless you've got great angles to attack.
Mamadou Ndoye played for UGB in Senegal's Division 1. Dribbles around the world. Fai dribbles in. Jeng puts it back, puts it in. It's a 6-point game.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to talk about. They were less organized there, but they were spaced. They got a penetration, they attacked it. It wasn't great, but they attacked it and made the defense rotate, and then they get the chance to get to the offensive boards. They've got to try and keep this game a little messy in some ways, trying to give themselves the opportunity to get to the glass.
Didn't I hear that when Philippines played Croatia?
I think so.
Foul.
That wasn't that messy. That was a great Philippine performance, though, as well.
Indeed. But they actually wanted to make it unpredictable.
Yeah.
And that's what you mean by messy.
Try and play it in transition. Don't let them set their defense. And there's so like Baroussis has to come, no one rotates, and then they get the offensive rebound. And it's just asking a different question of a Greek team that if you play, well, traditionally is not the right word, but we'll use it traditionally. They're organized for that. They can deal with those things.
Kostas Kaymakoglu is in the game. He played for Unix Kazan.
Well, we have a phrase with Kaymakoglu in terms of the way he plays. You have to fear the beard. You know, he's trimmed it back a little bit for this tournament, but he's hard-nosed. He can shoot the ball really well, and he's one of those glue players, hold things together, good options himself.
Baroussis slaps the ball away, so he and Baroussis together. We're not talking about a couple of choir boys.
No.
As we have another substitution, Baroussis takes a seat. Ian Vujiukas from Unix Kazan as well.
Yeah, Vujiukas is, again, one of those like Greek big men, fundamentally sound. And it looks like Kotsikaris has picked a team with players in spots and roles, because he's a straight in there swap for Baroussis.
Foul by Vasiliadis. Plays for the Efes team in the Turkey TBL.
And Vasiliadis has a great relationship with Coach Casares. Played for him in Bilbao. They both know what's expected.
And the captain is in. The captain is in. Nikolaos Zizis. With the absence of Spanoulis, he becomes one of the older players in the team, one of the more experienced players in the team. Never a leader necessarily when the others are around, but an absolute glue player that will do exactly what the team needs. And that is a quality of the Greek national team for many years.
Absolutely right. Every single year, players just understand roles. And it depends where your superstar is at a time. When they were winning that Eurobasket in 05, again, everyone knew their role. Everyone knew where they were supposed to be, what they were supposed to do. Vugiakis kicks it,
How
and
they move that ball.
get the
Vassiliadis
wide
with the
open.
three. Beautiful ball movement. I mean, I don't care how athletic you are, you can't keep up
No,
with the
you
ball.
can't. And Vugiakis on the inside could have tried to go up. He was 4 or 5 feet from the basket, but he hadn't really created an advantage, moved the ball. And when he's open, Vassiliadis doesn't miss.
See how Zizis went behind the screen,
Yep.
way behind. They just do not respect a Senegal team that does not have reliable distant shooters. Oh, tough shot by Ndoye.
Vugiakis did a great job not getting involved in any foul situation there. Just moved his feet, said, go over me, and just took away any drive lane to the hoop.
Dribbling up the court is Kaymakoglu. Finally, he gives it to Zizis.
He's one of these guards. If you need a shot in any spot on the floor, normally, although on cue he turns it over, he will get you the ball where you need the ball to be.
Can you imagine, though, how Gorgui Dieng sacrificed his body to go get that ball? First of all, he deflected it. Look at this.
Yep.
Look at this. Somewhere in Minnesota, there are some very nervous people.
Yeah, they're probably waiting for every moment he gets up after that as Papanikolaou sits down, and Greece are right into their rotations now.
Yeah, and Maurice Ndour comes in.
And also Enti to Kumpo in the game. And this, for me, is like one of those privileged moments. You could be seeing this, a player who has such a career ahead of him out there in his first World Cup.
Gatsikaris has said he will be playing 3 different positions: shooting guard, small forward, power forward during this World Cup. Tough shot by Dieng, and he gets fouled. Nope, he stepped on the line. I'm sorry. Looked like he got fouled. He thinks that way.
Yeah, he thinks he was fouled, but you take a look at it. I mean, it's his angle. See, he doesn't foul. He gets his angle right, so he takes him to an area where it's a tough ask.
And a nice verticality attempt by Kaymakoglu. Looking for the high-low. Zizis aims and misfires on a 3-pointer.
Well, that's a little surprising for Zizis to take it that early.
Last seconds of the quarter.
But there's no time left, obviously, so he wanted to get it away.
A bank shot by Mamadou Ndoye, the 35-year-old point guard. Plays also for UGB Senegal along Mohamed Diop. And at the end of the first quarter, Greece beat Senegal by 9, 18-9.
Well, those statistics tell you that Greece are probably the worst team for Senegal to play. They don't make mistakes, but Senegal shooting 33% and 0 for 7 from the three-point line. Just forget the three-point shot. You just run it and get it. This happened on 2 occasions for Vassiliadis. Gets his feet set with no one guarding him. If you don't make him bounce the ball, he shoots a phenomenal three-point percentage.
One of the better plays by Senegal.
Well, they answered it in the way that it's being aggressive, move people out the middle, and then just go. Finish hard. Try and get to the ring. Make it a physical moment. But down the other end, Baroussis.
Being Baroussis.
Yeah, it just goes to a little right-hand hook in his time at his pace.
Papanikolaou.
Oh, it's that
the
little,
drop step.
That little reverse layup that looked very pretty, had the crowd loving it.
Nice pursuit by Printessis, but a better shot by Ndiaye facing the basket.
And again, it's like that's a mid-range jump shot when you're wide open. That's not one of those threes they were firing up because they just didn't run anything to get closer to the hoop. And that play just worries you because Senegal, with their athleticism, their ability to play defense, just stand and watch someone make a little cut to the hoop.
And now Jake makes up for that in action with this nice offensive rebound and putback. And Baroussis again, look at him, scores, hits the ball with his head. Now the nice ball movement, beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful plays in the first quarter. Vassiliadis finishes with a long distance shot.
And the thing about the shooting percentages as well is 0 for 7, 33% from the 2. They only have 3 offensive rebounds. Probably the most athletic team in this Group B. And they're not playing hard. And if you're not refined, if you don't have the system, then go out there and try and make it a broken game, a full-court game, and see what happens.
Le Lion Rouge, or le 12 Lions, the 12 Lions or the Red Lions, as the national anthem says, of Senegal. Down low, a foul, as Bujukas was trying to score. Down low, your assessment of Gorgui Dieng. He's got already 4 rebounds as Badji commits the foul. That's his second. Gorgui Dieng missing opportunities. You saw that on defense, missing a few on offense, but at least putting some effort on the rebound.
Yeah, you'd want to, as a team, you would hope, without it being too sophisticated. Where's he going to hurt the Greek team? He's not being given the opportunity. He's almost being asked to create too much for himself. Post him up, see if he's got a post-up option. Get him to the elbow, see if he's got something off of one dribble going hard. He's got reasonable numbers in the NBA. He's a project. He's a player that's going to just get better and better. This team's got to find a way to use its resources.
29-year-old Ian Vujiukas.
And that's one of them.
Oh, what a fake! Oh, beautiful fake. He waited and waited, and he saw 3 players from Greece drift by. Vasiliadis misses this time. Dewar with a rebound.
Keep the ball moving now. Try and see if you can just keep it moving. That's not necessarily on the dribble either. Give it up and see if you can create a drive angle. See if you can bring the defense out.
Part of the problem with the over-dribbling is that everybody else stops and looks.
Yeah.
Zizis with his first personal. A 9-point Greek lead. Loses the ball. Here comes Giannis. Women and children first. Man, look at that.
And don't you love that it was off his defense?
Get me a Buck season ticket, please. Just like that. Foul, clearly, and maybe smartly.
See, it doesn't matter if it's Kamioglu, it doesn't matter if it's Vugiakis, it doesn't matter if it's Barousas. If he gets that deep and gets a little angle that they can feed him, give him the ball down there. They're going to have to come around him. He's going to be a real handful down there. Okay.
19 years old. He grew about 5-6 centimeters last year. He may not be done. He may end up being a legitimate 213 shooting guard who grew up dribbling the ball with all the guard skills, not point guard skills, but guard skills. Nice 3, in rhythm, beautiful way of setting your feet and balancing your shot.
But he had all day and tonight to shoot that. Someone's got to chase him off that 3-point line. Ask him to put it on the floor.
Comes a tough shot by Ibrahima Thomas. He misses.
Better option, rebound. Better options, getting to the ring.
Posting up, look at this. Inside, and the foul. Is it safe to say that from an athletic and from a capability point of view, Greece has never had a player like Antetokounmpo?
No, they've never had that.
It's just not the Greek model.
No, no.
It doesn't mean that they can't bring him into the team and make him work.
Well, if he has a Greek mentality with that athleticism, he's, well, what's the boundary? What's the ceiling? It's really difficult to put a boundary on him at the moment.
43-year-old Fotis Katsikaris is now with Vujiukas. He was born actually in London and played at St. Louis University in the States on the NCAA level.
Yeah, the British basketball fraternity do understand they've missed the talent.
Playing a little zone here. Outside, another 3, and the same result, same touch. Kaimakoglu with another 3.
Well, he's one of those players that never gets out of his skill set, Kamioglu. He knows he's not going to blow past you with speed, but if you stand there and look at him, he'll score. His skill set at the level he plays at is just made for that extended 4 role that a lot of these European teams have in their armory.
Nice fake by Ndu, but he couldn't finish. Ndu now guards Antetokounmpo. To the corner, Zizis drives left. On the inside, and we have a foul on the way in as Slukas, Konstantinos Slukas, Kostas Slukas got hammered. He played for Olympiacos.
He's a good, Slukas has, again, pure role player. He's playing alongside some talented individuals on that Olympiacos lineup. He's safe with a basketball. If you need someone to shoot the 3, he will. But again, it's that Greek basketball IQ, understands what his skill set is and just plays with it.
Zizi's equally comfortable with either hand. Antetokounmpo tries to feed the post, and he does. He cuts in, he drives to the basket, and he gets hacked, and he will go to the free throw line. His parents migrated to Greece. They were very poor. They had 4 boys. As we look at this replay.
The great thing about the replay was the cut was quick, yeah, but even in traffic, he had the body control to control the ball. It wasn't the best pass in the world, but he made it his. He then stayed with the play, and it's not the athleticism then. You know, it's his fundamental strength and ability.
This is a different family. His brother Thanasis played in the summer league with the Knicks, passed up a better, more rewarding, financially rewarding contract to work at the NBDL because his hope is to be able to play in the same league with his brother. They've got 2 younger brothers, and apparently, while Giannis, of course, is still an outstanding player, they may not be done with world-class players in the Antetokounmpo family.
Could be an interesting lineup in a few years.
And Greece could benefit. They're banging it down low, left-handed shot by Endur, no good. The ball is in a scrum, and finally Greece comes up with it. Here comes Giannis. No look past the corner. Oh, what a fake drive and a score.
Kamioglu has some size at 2'6". He's not quick though. That's just a heady basketball play.
Just surprised them. In the middle, Ndai misses. They look for the rebound. Jeng can't make it.
Well, again, the Senegalese, no pass offense.
Lucas. This is off the Kamioglu screen. The ball again in the hands of Antetokounmpo. Wisely, for a 19-year-old, he pulls it back.
His mentality, the way he passes the ball, what he's looking to do is not a 19-year-old athlete look, is it? It's very fundamentally sound.
Jukas in traffic, and he traveled. Greece is up by 22, almost halfway through the second quarter. And we see Senegal making some more substitutions. I see a little bit of hunched shoulders on the part of Senegal.
Yeah, it's disappointing for me that they're still doing the same things. That you can get down, you can get the hunched shoulders, you can do those things, but again, no pass offense. You know, they're running a pick and roll and getting 0 from it.
Now the pass is made because it has to be made.
And 10 seconds on the clock, they make 2 passes, and it's already down low with their best player in the post. Have it knocked away by Ugakis, but it's disappointing.
Now they lose the ball. It's off the hands of Jang. Kalathis comes back in. What's your evaluation so far? And I know he didn't really play that long of Nick Kalathis.
I think Nick Kalathis looks much more assertive and assured as a guy. He's always had the skill set. I like the fact that when he was out there at the beginning of the game, he took the 3. He tried to spread the floor. He's been a pass-first guard. He's not been a great deep threat, not the traditional sort of Greek guard that's got that 3-point ability. He's very good on the dribble. Like in this situation here, he'll find you exactly like that.
Over to Antetokounmpo. He hesitates on the 3.
Smart again, isn't he? He doesn't need to shoot it.
Kalathis, born in Florida, Greek parents. Learned from Mike Batiste and also learned from Spanoulis, were his teammates. Oh, deep 2. Again, you don't think that a man like that can make 3s, no, but he's making them.
But he's making them in his time, in his space, whenever he wants.
He's got 11 points, and he's made all 3 three-pointers.
No one's chasing him off that 3-point. He's just made 3. Make 1 yet, make 2. Someone's got to try and scramble out there and close him down.
Nice move. Aggressive banging by Pape Badji. The 22-year-old, aerodynamic 22-year-old.
Well, Katsikaris won't like the fact that Barousas gave him the middle there. It's not what his defensive system is designed to do.
Oh no, another one. That's his 4th. The man doesn't know how to miss. And now Jake Sarr begs for the timeout in the next dead ball.
Well, if he carries on like this, we better, as they say, call the fire department, because he's hot out there. It could get even hotter if they keep leaving him that open, because no one's playing any defense to chase him off that 3-point line.
triple team for Deng, and they could not get a shot in time. I think that Maurice Ndour just lost track of time, the 22-year-old from Ohio University.
Wow, that play tells you everything about where the emphasis is of that Greek team. They get a 24-second call. Every single player, every single coaching member of the staff is up. It's about how they organize defensively. They're not going to let teams run at them.
A 26-point Greek lead.
Coach Sarr looking a little resigned himself during that huddle. And if you're sitting there, and should you really have to say to your players, this guy's just made the last 4 threes with no one chasing him off the three-point line? Should you have to say that at this level? Greece are just 56%. They're 45% from the three-point line. The only good news for Senegal, they haven't taken a three in this. They've tried to be more aggressive. They have got it inside. But they're down 26 points against a good Greek team without making a change. They've got to try and change this game up. And they're just going to try and, what are they going to lose?
That was a nifty play by Kamakoglu.
Heads up, just looked everybody off with his eyes, then just kept going.
And by the way, that may have not been slow motion in his case.
In his
this
case,
one is.
Yeah, he doesn't need the slow-mo for him.
Again, all alone.
Two of the 4 threes he's just made. And it wasn't on that side that there was not penetration. They just moved the ball. He cut to the top, and in on that occasion, Batiste was just way off him. Didn't get a hand up.
Senegal spent 3 weeks in Malaga. They had a warm-up with Mexico. They won. They lost badly to Senegal in Gran Canaria. They beat Estonia by 4. They had a very chippy game in which they lost widely to the Dominican Republic, and again they got beaten by Estonia. So they really had only 5 warm-up games. They steal the ball. There's a foul by Greece.
Yeah, it's Sluka has to do whatever it takes. So he knew someone was behind him, had to stop the break, and did so. And there is it's Kamioglu, not the caption. They got the caption wrong there, but Kamioglu needs a name check after that performance. That's what he does week in, week out, though. Normally he gets chased off that three-point line, though.
Mark Clark, who gets to see most of these Greek players play in the EuroLeague, as the ball goes out of bounds off Ndour, another turnover. But one of the questions that they ask in Greece and elsewhere is, how come these wonderful, skilled players who have basically everything either don't play, don't go, or don't stay in the NBA? Papanikolaou, the latest to try that.
It's always an interesting question for me, and it's, you can wind that out to the Spanish guys like Juan Carlos Navarro and Sergio Rodriguez, and maybe, I don't know, the league here in Europe, the EuroLeague is very tough as Slukas fouls mid-court to stop the break. And there's a debate, isn't there? It's like in Europe, you're going to play a 60-game schedule. You're living at home. If you're in Spain, you're normally in a good climate. Or if you're on that 90, 100-game trek in the NBA where you're just from hotel to hotel and you're on big away trips, is that what you want to do? The standard between the 2 leagues, the NBA is still the Premier League.
It's a different style of game.
It's a different game, and maybe those players prefer, maybe the more, for want of a better phrase, technical game, more coached games as such that you'll get here in Europe.
Nice steal up front. Oh, Jeng is all alone. He won't miss the chance. A rare fast break opportunity completed by Senegal off the turnover.
Calathis fumbled that one, and it generated a turnover as opposed to the defense, but Senegal playing soft in many ways have got nothing. So why not get out there? Why not gamble? Why not try and steal it? Reach for it. Try and make the game a different style of game.
Galatas, as we'd see it, Jang, making a very quick transition to offense. Very quick. Extremely quick.
He was extremely quick as he hadn't got back over the halfway line.
And you saw Galatas make a pass and kind of throw it up there. He doesn't really care how high, because he knows that with the wingspan and the hops of this young man, it would be caught.
Yep.
Milwaukee truly has great hopes for this man, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And he'll become a hero in Greece in terms of them as a basketball country. His age now, and how good can he be?
But this is not the kind of system in team, the Greek team, that will allow a player to score 20, 25 points a game. That just doesn't happen.
Unless he's an out-and-out superstar point guard. That's their system allows the guard to get those shots, and then
nice penetration by Malay and Doy. Again from Paris Levallois. Vasiliadis. To Barousis. Again, all alone, no double team. No double against Baji. Left-handed shot, no good. Rebounded by Jang.
Too many dribbles again. Had to go over the athlete.
5th rebound for Jang. Wow.
Now we have some athletes in the gym. We don't have that type of
Watch
athlete.
out, watch out. Oh! Minute 13 to go, and the crowd is loving every minute of Antetokounmpo. Fake, shot, short.
Again, no pass though, no pass.
Oh, what a pass by Galafis. Vasiliadis for the 3. In and out.
Got to run, they've got to run. They've got numbers down the floor and they want to walk.
And let Greece set up their defense, especially Barousis. It's one of the things that Gatsikaris has insisted during practice. Barousis has to get back after he hedges and shows off the pick and roll. A long shot, long 2, no good. Printesis hands off to Galafis. Double team.
Bruce is wide open.
Yep. To the corner, Vasiliadis a 3. It is good. 10 seconds to go in the half. It's a 28-point difference. And Jang takes a 3-pointer. And that's the end of the first half. 14 points for Kamakoglu. 5 points for Ndoye. And that Ndoye is the top scorer for Senegal, having tremendous trouble scoring. We go to halftime. Greece enjoys a 28-point lead.
Well, there are the stats. And there's no change. It's exactly the same type of numbers we saw with the 0 from the 3-point line. Still down in the 33%.
That's surprising, the difference in rebounds.
Especially on the missed shot side of it. They've got to pick up more offensive rebounds. 4 blocks, well, yep, absolutely. Not a lot of turnovers either way because neither team has really had to play a lot of defense. Foul count's low across the board. Ndoye leads with 5. And Kamakoglu must think he's in a different universe almost in terms of the way he's getting open looks. 14 points on the back of 4 threes and a nice little 2. And Barousis contributing across the stat line again. He just came up with an assist at the end of the half. It's a professional performance by Greece. It's a disappointing performance by Senegal.
Take a look at some of the images. Beautiful early shot for Vasiliadis.
And that was the first possession of the game. Vasiliadis gets a wide open 3, which he makes. And in the first 2 quarters, Senegal never went away from letting them have that wide open look.
Barousis in the low post operating. Here goes Papalikula, one of the prettiest plays in the first half. And again, his way of fooling the defenders and the help defense from Senegal. Nice smart shot, penetration, dish out, mid-range shot. And this is the one that really gets you going as a coach and as a basketball analyst.
You love
just watching.
You love Barousis' vision and touch on the pass. There should not be a pass there. And this, to me, breaking up the game, getting on the glass, attacking the ring. Senegal have got a mountain to climb. Try and climb it doing something different. It's just a disappointing for me more than anything else. The result, the margin is not the issue for me. The fact that Senegal are just carrying on doing the same thing, unless they've said to themselves, okay, we can't win this game. We're just going to get everybody in, and we're going to try and build ourselves up to try and beat 2 other teams and try and get a qualification spot that way.
Antetokounmpo with 7 points and 11 rebounds. And then that long distance shot from Kostas Kamagoglu. 4 of 4 from behind the arc. Nice fake. He looked over. He looked off the defense. Figures they don't think I'm actually going to try this, do they? But I will.
It's not a clinic because the opposition isn't giving them any questions to answer. It's just we've got to do this. You're not playing me, I'm going to look the part. I am a bet. We are good. We're going to make open shots. They've done it very, very well.
In a way, we talked about how Fotis Katsikaris wants to have a team that runs a little bit more. Perhaps in this game, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to save energy. He wants to slow down Senegal, avoid having to do defensive transitions very quickly, score as close to the basket as you can, and then ride the hot hand in this case.
Yeah, and it's if we had seen a shot chart, they would not have taken a mid-range jump shot in that hole of that half. It would either have been deep threes, or it would have been moves on the inside. I'm hoping, because I think this Senegalese team has some talent, has ability, and at the moment they're not doing things that will show that off to the best of their ability, and that's what you hope they come out and do. Try and make this different. They still might lose 90-34. It might be a complete repeat score-wise, but at least they can look at themselves and say, we tried this, we gave it a different go, and we looked at different options, and we just got beat.
Well, you just saw a fairly athletic player in Mamadou Ndoye just watch Giannis Antetokounmpo blow by him. What an exhibition of execution, basketball execution by Greece, and perhaps a disappointing lack of effort as we look at our players of the match. Barousis, wily, strong, unruffled.
Yeah, and it's the fact he's contributed across the stat line. He's got his points, he's got a lot, he's got rebounds, he's come up with assists. There are other guys out there with more points, but it's what Barousis does. He does lots of things well, holds the middle, and he is he's one of those players that says on the tin, I'm a big man, and this is what I do, and that's what he does. 7 and 6 in the half. If he carries on like that, he's going to have a very nice double-double.
Look at all the time. Look at no pressure on his eyes, on his body, and Kalathis cuts to the basket to take advantage against Almeida. And that explains the first half. You just saw Greece take advantage with time, in rhythm, and Senegal is down as we see Hamadi Ndiaye with only 4 points but making 2 of 3 shots.
Yeah, he's only got the 3 shots, and that's again first play of the game, gets it going to the basket. They haven't had him cut to the basket. They haven't given him the ball in that environment anywhere near enough. They've settled for bad-looking perimeter jump shots, and they're being offered those by Greece, and they're taking them, and they're not making them. So therefore, something has to change. And if you're in that locker room as a coach now, you're not talking about winning and losing the game. You're talking about the tournament almost. You're talking about trying to find a way to play at the World Cup.
Now remember, wins and losses are one thing, so you need wins to advance. But in case you end up tied with someone, point differential becomes an issue. So if you see a game like this one with a 20-point difference, Senegal has every incentive to close this gap and win this game, of course, but close the gap at the very, very least against Greece. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the start of the second half. best of male and female international basketball, female basketball, growing around the world in leaps and bounds. I have to say that basketball has to be one of the sports that most welcomes women among the major sports around the world. And it's potentially an opportunity for the sport to grow tremendously. But we're here looking at the men. 2 of the 24 teams in this World Cup of basketball. And we watch Argentina hand out a clinic on tough defense and offensive execution against Puerto Rico. And now we're watching Greece take advantage of Senegal without trying to strain themselves too much.
Well, I think that's the halftime discussion would have been, we'll carry on, we've got to execute, we're going to get what we need of our sets, we're going to play our type of basketball. Everyone's going to get minutes out here. This is an opportunity for us to get ready for the tougher games. This might beat about the bush. Tougher games that they're going to face in the next 5 days here in Seville.
And so what was Sheikh Sarr's conversation like for Senegal?
Well, I would expect Coach Sarr to get to at least, well, either he can tell him or he can ask him. Guys, what do we think? What do you think has happened out there? What can you tell me? Because he could stand there and he could give him a hard time. He could stand there and shout and bawl about the fact we've given up 45, we've only scored 17, we're not playing any defense. There is a time when you might want to ask your guys, because I would hope those guys would say, I'm ashamed, I don't feel good about how we played. What are we going to do? Then he can step in and give them the options. He can talk about what he wants to do. I'd love to see him come out here and try and press. I'd love to see him come out here and try and make this a full-court game. They still might lose 90 to 34, but at least you can say, we've tried something different. They beat us both ways. If they carry on like this, I don't see how they're going to get a positive, because they have a game tomorrow that they would have probably looked at and said, well, Puerto Rico just got beat. We're playing them tomorrow.
They're down, but not really playing well. We have a chance.
We have a chance. We can, but they would have to play some defense against Puerto Rico. Could become a one-on-one type game tomorrow with the 2 teams. But Senegal are going to find something out in this second half.
A couple of quick numbers, though, to put the first half in perspective. Greece wins the first quarter, 18-9. Then they go ahead and win the second one, 27-8. And the other one that really blows me away. Senegal has 17 points scored on 29 shots. We talk about efficiency a lot in these tournaments, and that's been lacking, of course.
Well, and on top of that, to extend that point, on 29 shots where they've only made the 8 shots they've made, 7 shots they've made, they only have 3 offensive rebounds. The most athletic team, the largest team in terms of longest team in the tournament, hasn't committed itself to the glass. It has to change. It has to change, because this is day 1 of 5 days. They've got to come up with a performance in the second half.
Alongside Coach Mark Clark, this is Alvaro Martin. This is the third and last game of day 1 of Group B action here in Sevilla at the Palacio Municipal de Deportes. Senegal losing by 28 against Greece. Greece, a team that has not been mentioned amongst the candidates to win this tournament or even make it to the semifinals. And that may be a mistake. Papanikolaou brings the ball up court to Calafis.
Well, it's a zone at the start of this third period.
Inside, Printeses takes the bucket, takes the foul.
It's
Nice
a zone.
pass by
It's a
Papanikolaou.
zone. You've got to bump cuts. You've got to force them to shoot shots. You can't let Aziz just slice through the middle. He's gone straight. He hasn't even gone straight down the middle. He's standing next to the back of the zone. And the back of the zone has just allowed him to catch the ball.
That makes it a 30-point lead. And he makes the 3-point play the old way. 9:20 to play. And here comes a little bit of press, but from Greece, not from Senegal.
Greece up the floor looking to trap. Greece up the floor looking to force the issue.
Long distance shot by Fai, no good. Barus is intercepted by Jang, and a foul committed by Kostas Vasiliadis.
So again, they beat the pressure, they get it down the floor, they throw a pass, shoot a 3.
Vasiliadis right now with 8 points, 2 rebounds. They have really spread around the assists, 11 in total, with a couple of guys with 2, the rest with 1.
This Senegalese team are not a bad team. They beat Nigeria. Nigeria coming out of competing in the 2012 Olympic Games in London. They beat them in Afrobasket. They beat the Ivory Coast in the Ivory Coast in a must-win game. They've got players who can play, but they're just not here at the moment.
Jang gets the foul from Papanikolaou, but let's put it in perspective, though. According to Senegalese media, as we take a look at the play down low,
that's again one of those fouls. We're in a bad shape, got a foul. Let's get them. Let's get organized. Make them play half court.
According to Senegalese media, just a turnover, just a ball slipped out of his hands. This is the first time that a Senegalese team goes to a major tournament and every player is covered by insurance. They would literally have to pick one or two players and the rest would just take a chance. And of course, some of them didn't take a chance, they just wouldn't play.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a federation itself that's being reorganized after a few scandals and a few debts. And it's just trying to get some footing. Senegal clearly has the talent. It's now a matter of resources, apparently, to resolve some of these debt issues and some of these fines imposed by FIBA. The central government of the Republic of Senegal stepped in, and that's part of the reason why these Lions are here. Almeida to the corner to 5. Jang with 8 seconds to shoot. Much confusion and a foul, a bailout foul by Barousis as Almeida was getting right past him. It's a second.
Yeah, it's...
Now, the Greeks will tell you, well, gee, debts? Economic problems?
Yeah, really.
Well, please. Of course, there are different levels of development.
It's a different type of debt and a different type of level. But yeah,
Greece is going through some tremendously difficult years as well.
Absolutely.
And it's hurting basketball economically, undoubtedly. 5, tough shot. In and out. Papanikolaou with a rebound.
Just picking that point up. Yep, it's really hitting Greek basketball
As
from the financial perspectives, but Olympiacos went and won 2 EuroLeagues after the financial stuff, paying less money. With guys like Slukas getting more time, and they've found a way to be competitive. They've always been a great national team, but their clubs now much more dependent on their homegrown players.
Jang against Printezis, step back shot, and he takes the foul. He'll take 2 shots as well. As referee Carlos Mangola sends a signal. Barousis to the bench. Rare moment when Greece is not spread out on the court appropriately. Kalasas recognizes it as Printezis was out of balance. He goes, okay, I'll take the shot.
Yeah, it's the basketball IQ is second to none in terms of the way they recognize what is on the floor.
Reading what's on the floor, the recognition, and then the execution.
Senegal almost screening each other.
Ndai rattles in a bucket. And now it's a 30-point game. 7 minutes to go in the third. Nice shot.
Well, again, that play, at least there were some screens. They came off the screen and got their feet set for the shot, but they're still settling for the 3. It's,
which is not their shot.
No.
Papanikolaou inside the Printezis. This time the touch failed him. Here comes Almeida.
But he was still wide open, 3 feet from the hoop. And again, they've still got that problem to solve.
Jang, left-handed hook shot, no good. Nice fake. Puts away Vasiliadis and then makes the 3.
2 for 2, back-to-back 3s.
And now it's a 27-point game.
Still in this 2-3 zone. The Brazilian wide open again. The weak side has to match up on that cut. Now they pass the ball to the corner. Yakis is wide open in the post. He's in the post, so he's matched up with a man in the middle. The man on the back side of this zone just stands and looks at Azizus. Just step into the middle as we get one of the 2 3s.
More changes for Senegal. Out comes Maurice Ndour, in comes Pape Badji.
Well, look, there's some intensity there off Ndour as he comes out, and Ndai as he comes out of the game.
I'm sorry, it's Ndai who comes out. How many has played well, but he hasn't played too many minutes?
No.
Zizzi's back in the court. Vasiliadis misses the 3.
The zone's beginning to have a little bit of a factor for Senegal.
Tough pass down low, but there's a foul by Greece. A little shove in the back. for Sheikh Sar. 3 weeks in Malaga training, 5 games to prep. That's actually a step forward.
Yeah, and taking your point further on again, the insurance, all those infrastructure things need to be there for this talent to really have the opportunity to shine. Then it's exposure. Get your team into international competition, go on tours, go and play teams around the world, whatever you can do. You know, Senegal, it's not a huge trip to get into Europe.
Pape Badji makes the second free throw. He won the Swiss League Cup with Neuchâtel. He's an intimidator, shot blocker. And he's joined by a couple of countrymen, Babacar Touré and Jules Aw, in that Swiss team. Zissi inside, and the ball is tipped out of bounds precisely by Badji.
Again, better movement. The matchup on the big high-low cut from Bugiakis. Bugiakis was matched up on and bumped, but then they give it wide open on the inside. And Kamioglu's missed a shot. Send the report out.
Inside, beautiful transition, but the rim blocked by a shot, and there's a foul by, I believe, Dalmeida.
So Kamioglu's obviously too close. 2 feet, he can't make it.
See in the center, Sheikh Sar, Raoul Toupin, and Parfait Avillon. Country that still speaks, of course, the language of France, but also speaks Wolof and a couple of other native African languages.
Quick hands that time. They aren't really getting
Dalmeida,
things to happen, and there's the shot in transition with a rebound opportunity.
Now the layup game by Badji, and you can tell, by the way, that is a point of emphasis in this tournament, as we have a timeout. The Greeks are up 50-27, halfway through the third quarter. Senegal showing a little bit of signs of life. That is a tournament that at some point I hope before my career ends I get to do and see, especially the way the continent's developing and basketball is growing in Africa.
Well, and again, we've talked about where Senegal, but Angola have come up with an opening day win as the #1 team from Africa, beating Korea in one of the elsewhere here in the World Cup. And once they start getting one team getting wins, and Nigeria in the past have been a factor, it's just a matter of time until, when they get the programs in place, they bring the expertise in, and those the points you were making, they get the infrastructure around it. The talent's there. It's an exciting tournament to watch because of the potential you're looking at on the floor.
One item that's helping this tournament get better every time around. And we've mentioned that I get the impression, you may not agree, Mark, that the top teams, there are fewer of them. The bottom teams, or the perceived bottom teams, there are fewer of those. And everybody seems to be bunched up towards the middle with a chance for surprises and close games that perhaps we may not have had before. One of the things that's clearly a pattern now is the fact that a national from one country can help a team in another country, as we see a foul, whether he's a player, whether he's a coach, whether he's a consultant. We've seen everything in this tournament.
Absolutely, and the big buzz for me, I think it's, I agree with what you're saying there, and I would put it to the fact that I think that there are fewer bad teams. I think that everybody's like coming to raise their level. Whereas in the past, and they're still the very elite teams, but their time at the top is never guaranteed. There are teams now that are always challenging.
Badji makes the first, not the second. Oh, Jenks takes the ball, and he's fouled by Rajukas.
Well, the last 2 minutes, they got 2 stops down the defensive end. They've come down the floor and got shots in transition. They've been fouled in transition. These are very positive signs. I mean, they had 9 and 8 points in the first 2 quarters. They already have 11, and we're only halfway through, so they're picking it up at that end, but most impressively, kept Greece to 5 points in this third quarter.
With Badji and Jeng together on the court for Senegal, and Jeng will take a shot. Jeng became the sort of story in Minnesota. Everybody talks about Kevin Love leaving Minnesota. There's still some value. Ricky Rubio is there. Nikola Pekovic is still there. But then all of a sudden, this young man showed up. And nothing was expected of him. Everything was thought to be, well, you know, he's a project. He's raw. Well, maybe he's not so raw. And maybe he's ready to contribute. And I think his team is looking for him to contribute next year now that they have Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett. Pressure. The pressure you were talking about.
First time we've seen it in the game. Little half-court trap.
Almost a backcourt violation and a travel. A travel by Vassiliadis.
They forced them to play a little quicker than the Greeks want to play. Yeah, it's a small step forward, and you like the fact they hope that Coach Sarr sees this and wants to stay with it, wants to see what he can get.
Antetokounmpo, he's fouled. Falls to the ground again. Another sigh of relief.
All four Greeks are there to pick him up. You love that. We are the national team. That's all we are now. So everyone was in it together. Everyone was there.
Of course, his family migrated from Nigeria, but he proudly represents Greece. Grew up in that basketball. This is in the middle, in the crease. No good. Back to Antetokounmpo. Giannis resets.
Just hasn't got his own offense in rhythm at the moment, Zisis.
Yeah, and they're playing a 2-3 zone. Corner shot, it's good. Boy.
Beautiful stroke, beautiful high release, good timing on it.
Little penetration, a little hint of a penetration. Defender on the corner steps in. That's all that was needed.
Again, though, with the three at the back, you can't give up the corner, and they gave up the corner. And
strong play by Jang. In and out, however, Antetokounmpo. Driving up the court.
Great ball movement.
Facing the basket. Oh, he's picking up where he left off. Kostas. Kaimagolu.
All he's missed all game is that little two-footer.
Oh, a steal and a basket by Vassiliadis. A little carelessness by Jang. And Almeida.
And again, it's the Greeks up the floor. Not trying to make too much happen. If they get sloppy, they'll steal it, but they're trying to just make them earn everything they get.
Turn around. And a foul before the shot by Barousis. And I think Pape Badji got the treatment. He's very unhappy with the amount of contact and the quality of the contact.
Well, he's unhappy with the quality of the cut, and unhappy the ref called it as early as he did. The referee was right to call it when he did.
In comes for the first time Tierno Yang, 24-year-old youngster who plays for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, part of that pipeline being sent now, not to France, but the United States to develop. And that, I believe, has risks and rewards. They can quickly impress NBA scouts, are much closer to them, but they also don't learn the FIBA game.
And that's, for their national team, that's what they need to understand. They need to go through that time as a young player, you know, learning how to read the floor, learning how to space the floor, learning how to share the basketball.
Badji makes a second as well.
That's not to say that if they're in an NCAA environment, that's the type of education they're going to get. It's just it's a different background. It's a different environment.
They do get an education, a academic education, whatever field they choose, but they're limited to 20 hours a week of games and practice. And if you're a professional at that age, you're going to get more. Against the 2-3 zone, Zizis. Over to Slukas. Nice fake. Hammer pass.
Oh, that's a great find.
Extra pass. Why not? Misses a shot. As we now see the last player added to the team, Andreas Gliniadakis. Number 9, guarding now.
Well, he's a great story, the veteran. 33 years old now from Hapoel.
Tough fall by Jeng again, underneath his own basket.
He wasn't expected to make this lineup, one of those players that wasn't expected to make, but it's almost, he's going to do whatever it takes. He's happy to be here. He's going to make whatever contribution that Kotskaris wants him to make.
And fairly early in the process, before warm-up games began, Costa Koufos renounced the team. They said, I'm not playing this time. And that opened the door for him as well.
It's very unusual for a Greek to opt out of the national team.
But remember, born in Ohio, grew up in the States, NBA player. Scores a second now. They're trying to slowly get into this game. They're down now by
And look how
25.
active and big that trap can be. It's a tough ask. You know, it's a big trap. They show a lot of length. You've got it's a tough thing to beat. And they've shown it only a handful of times.
Slukas misses inside. Back to Slukas. Left-handed. Teardrop. It's good.
And Karioglu adds another positive stat as he chased that one down and came up with the assist.
Mohamed Faye over to Bape Badji. Antetokounmpo. Open court. He likes to take it all the way, but Badji makes sure with a shove that's not going to happen. And they exchange pleasantries as well. It's Badji's third foul. Shove.
In the penalty, they can earn it from the free throw line, or you try and get back. He was right on the sideline. It's questionable whether it was the right decision. So, coming out of day one, you know, the Croatians got away with one against the Philippines after a great performance. Argentina just really did surprise the level of the gap on their win. And Greece are impressing here just in the way that they're moving as a group. You know, they've got nice rotations off the bench. They've got people who can shoot the basketball really well, and they're only just going to bring in, I guess, Menzaris for the first time in the game.
Antetokounmpo last season a 68% free throw shooter, and right now 3 or 4, that's 75%. That's an area of growth for the young man as well. But one of the best and really most compelling players, even though he comes off the bench in this tournament, Yang. Badji flashes, nobody sees him. They have to shoot with 1 second. Air ball, 24-second violation.
They stand. When they get that deep in the shot clock, they just stand.
But that's the second time that Maurice Ndour from Ohio University loses track of the clock.
Yeah.
A little shorter clock than the one he's perhaps used to.
Menzaris had a really nice season. Although they're going to call the offensive foul. Had a really nice season at Olympiacos. Really started to grow in confidence and responsibility on that program. Him and Slukas did a really nice job in the backcourt.
Spanulis talked about being tired, being a little sore, being hurt. All true. He's in the, as they say, the wrong side of 30.
Yeah.
You wonder, though, you expect him, if he's healthy, to play in Rio at the Olympics. Another.
Well, but then he gets
the
into the, if Greece gets to the point of qualifying, you know, because they're
Europe is tough.
It's really hard. But then again, Greece made the additional qualification tournament, but didn't make it out of that, and they got, you know, some harsh lessons, should we say, in that pre-Olympic qualifying tournament. Games that you'd expect them to win, they didn't.
Gorgui attended the Sports for Education and Economic Development Academy in Thiès, Senegal. That academy was set up by a number of Western interests and has a lot to do with the Basketball Without Borders program. And they send those kids to different high schools in the U.S. He went to Huntington Prep in West Virginia, where there's a number of talented players from around the world and the U.S. and played for Coach Rob Fulford, averaging 15 points, 13 rebounds. And by the way, Gorgui Dieng, you see him on TV, he passed the SAT, which is the standard aptitude test in the U.S., after learning English, and had a score that was among the top scores in his high school.
Really?
For someone who basically had just mastered English.
Yeah. Learning academically in your second language is something that is always impresses me. We see that a few times when we take young players into the United Kingdom, and you've got players whose language is Bulgarian ended up getting college degrees in English. It's a phenomenal achievement in my mind.
It is. It is. And of course, Antetokounmpo would go out with his brothers and sell plastic toys, plastic watches, literally for dinner. And there were days they didn't sell watches, and there were days they just went hungry. And he and his brother Thanasis would tell each other, let's make sure we make something of ourselves so we don't have to go through this. But what really is amazing and commendable is how close his family is, having had nothing. And what a nice young man he is. The only thing he doesn't like to do, of course, is deal with the press.
Well, if he can stay away from the press for as long as he can.
Right, but there are members of the Greek press in Milwaukee braving the cold just to be near him and track his career in the NBA. Last minute of the quarter, 30-point lead for Greece. Niang to the referee. There's a little flash of green in that uniform.
Yeah, he should have held that. That's a poor mishandle by the official. Should have got his both hands on that. If he'd have got both hands on it, he had a wide open looking three.
Manzares in the game. He's played very few minutes, but this is part also of new faces that are highly qualified and skilled that can play for this team as well.
That's, but you've got to say it's a better effort. They've tried to be, the zone's been different. They've tried to find a different way of functioning during this third quarter, Senegal. So, you know, they're going to take something positive out of that situation. You would hope they would anyway.
Jang to the line, makes the first shot.
Well, that means they've scored more in this quarter than they scored in the first half. And some of that is down to the Greeks, perhaps stepping off a little bit and getting deeper into rotations, but a lot's down to the fact that Senegal have been a bit more aggressive and have moved the ball better, and they're up the floor. Where is this? It's taken 30 minutes to this to happen.
When they were already down by a lot. No foul yet. Lucas keeps the ball alive. The lefty calls the play. Penetrates. Oh, another block.
Came off his back and to add insult to injury. But again, Slukas did what Slukas would always do. Gets to the end of the shot clock, trying to close it out, gets the screen, tries to get the shot going to the hoop. Most situations, he might get it away.
It's the end of three. Greece in control, beating Senegal 64-36 here at Sevilla. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the fourth quarter.
Well, those statistics do look a little bit better for Senegal. They've made a couple of threes, the back-to-back threes.
Their two-point shooting actually is dropping slightly.
Yeah, they got to the line. They've shot a lot of free throws. They've been much more aggressive. But they gave, especially initially in that quarter, gave up so many easy looks down low in the zone.
Again, I'm going to be the head of the difficult questions department for you, because I know you're not in Senegal. You're not intimately familiar with that basketball, but the dearth of three-point shooter, I have to assume that Jake Sarr, if he had one, he'd take him. I would have to think as a coach, if you had one, you would bring him here. That means that there probably aren't any that certainly can play at this level, in his opinion. So why is that? Why is it not emphasized? Is it simply a matter of they're so amazingly gifted in every other way that who needs a three-point shooter if you can go all the way to the hoop?
I think it's two things. I think that it's the level of game they're playing. So even though the Greeks play a style of defense that isn't really out there in your face, etc., they know how to close you out and challenge the shot. So that it's a more difficult scenario to take that shot in. But the other point is they're not in the facility. They're not in the gym shooting those thousands of shots a week.
But they're in the gym. What are they doing?
Well, and the other thing about it, but it is the other thing is the other point you made. It's not what they want to do. They want to get into the highlight. They see the NBA guys above the ring. They want to get into that type of scenario. And even the guards here don't look like they want to settle and they don't have great rhythm on the three-point shot. It's a combination of all the things, I think.
Start of the fourth quarter. Mark Clark, Alvaro Martin, last game of day one of Group B action here at the World Cup of Basketball. Manzares, no good. Oh, what a leap by Ndoye. What a leap.
He was, oof.
Now he lines up a three, and he makes it. Beautiful shot. And a nice pass by Niang.
You know, without getting too into it, he was in a little bit more rhythm. He did step onto it.
Manzares and Slukas handling the ball for Greece. Giving it a strong hand. Papanikolaou. He's gonna love Dwight Howard, and Dwight Howard probably would learn to love him.
I think it's a really good fit for Papanikolaou. Their style of play.
Again, he will fool you. You close on him on a three-point line, and he will drive to the basket and even dunk it for you.
Oh, he will.
As we get a foul and a double and a bucket for Gang. Princesses, the guilty party.
4 passes on that possession. They changed the angle, looked inside, and then they get it deep, right at the bottom of the circle.
Nice extra fake, though, by Gorgie.
But he caught it in a place he had advantage where he can really do a decent job, and he did finish really well, and he makes the extra.
He is actually making quite a few free throws. He's made 7 of 9 from the free throw line.
There's the trap again.
25-point game. It used to be a 30-point game.
Could have stayed with it for another pass. Then they had Manzares there. He could have gone hard on the halfway line. Showing to trap out. Nice pass.
In and out. Extra pass. In traffic though. Papanikolaou can't take it. It's 5 on 4 if they take advantage of it. Too early a shot. And exactly the shot that's probably the weakest of all they could have taken.
The disappointing thing is they trapped it out of the zone. They scrambled. They came up with a steal, and then they give up the open look.
Printesses has lost his touch in the second half.
Well, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a lack of rhythm.
I think he only makes them in tough situations. He's one of those players that the tighter the game, the more likely he is to make.
Banging. A hook shot and a foul by Printesses.
And we're not going to sit here and say, oh, if Senegal had done this earlier on, it would have been a closer game and all this type of thing. But it would have been a better performance by Senegal.
And I think this team needs confidence.
Yep.
They need confidence anywhere they can get it. They barely made it to this tournament, as Mark described to you. A tough experience in Africa basket. Senegal had not qualified since Saitama, Japan in 2006. And in that one, they finished last in Group D and 22nd of 24 teams. They lost to the US, to Italy, Slovenia, to China, and to Puerto Rico, who's their rival tomorrow. So they have a chance to avenge that loss and really put themselves in an interesting spot in this tournament.
It would be a very, and the thing that they're going to hang on to here is that they had huge losses in AfroBasket. Ivory Coast beat them by 30 plus.
Manzares with a three-point shot.
And they found a way as that tournament progressed to find ways to win. And so if they come out and take the same shots, who knows? They make some shots, they're right back in it. They could get the win tomorrow against what must be a very down team from Puerto Rico.
Jang, tough shot, and he makes it. Wow.
Unconventional.
Oh, listen, we're getting a little preview of Minnesota-Milwaukee, and I mean in traffic, uncomfortably.
Yep.
And he's supposed to be offensively challenged. Meaning, I shouldn't say that. He's supposed to be so much further ahead defensively than offensively.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's not challenged.
But he's he is one. You can tell from this game. You without knowing, he looks like he's learning while this game is going on. He's trying to become more effective in this environment. He's one of those guys that's probably like a sponge with a coach. He'll just take it all in.
Lucas under pressure.
Again, better to see the trap, better to see the aggressive, but they make the extra pass for
and
the
a little
points.
pocket pass to Slukas, and he gets hammered in the head after the basket. Do they set up a pick and roll? No, they give it to Deng. Doi. Left-handed runner. The putback, no good. He really just didn't have the handle on that ball.
Oh, and they've been so much more effective since they've gone away from running the pick and roll and just tried to clear it out and take some space.
Lucas with a shot. There was at least a little bit of effort in closing by Hamadi Ndiaye, who's very frustrated with himself and his teammates.
Slukas does it at every level he plays. Very, very solid perimeter threat.
Gorgui Dieng again.
See, even though Greece know where it's coming from, they're going into Gorgui Dieng all the time, but he's good enough, and he's got enough options that he can get good shots.
He's got a double-double with 19 points and 13 boards. He traveled. Nope, no call. And the triple comes in from Vangelis Manzaris. There's a timeout. Almost halfway through the fourth quarter. Again, a 30-point lead. Senegal cut it down by 5. It's back up to 30, and we'll take the timeout.
Well, it's a tough ask. You got Slukas on one side, Manzaris on the other. They pass the ball around. You get dragged from one side of the floor to the other. The ball reversal was very good. Open look. And try and make it sound a little simple, but it's so effective. They just hit the open man, take the open shot.
Now, put aside Senegal's offensive execution, which leaves a lot to be desired today. How would you qualify Greece's defense? Did they do what they have to do?
I think the great thing about Greek defense is that they spend as much time thinking about how they're going to play their defense. They work it out and get their angles correct. They get teams to take the ball to areas that the defense wants them to go to, not where the offense wants to hurt them. And Katsikaris and his staff are masters of working out where they want the ball to go. And that's the thing. And whether it's Senegal or the United States, the result might be different because of the performance and the quality of the opposition. But his objective is to get the ball into areas where he thinks that teams are relatively weaker. And he does a great job at organizing it. And the Greek team does an excellent job of putting it on the floor.
Dieng, step back shot. Again, every shot you can see the confidence rise. That is really quite an impressive second half by Gorgui Dieng. Manzaris against the 2-3 zone.
They're literally 4 out, 1 in against the zone at the moment with the flash little cut, inside, outside options. It's good to watch.
Lucas, step back. It's good. Off the bounce. 31-point lead. Now we're halfway through this quarter.
And the thing about the Greek offense in that situation, they explore it, they try and get the high percentage, but they know that if they're down to the 4 or 5 seconds on the shot clock, they've got people who can make shots, make tougher shots.
Dur in the elbow. He had a shot, passed it up. Baji sealed by and fouled.
That's a pretty decent move.
Mujiukas.
Baji's second move here was very, very good. The extra step gave him the angle to go underneath. Watch this. He's on one side of the ring, gets to the other side.
Fight it off while being off balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the bits are there. You know, there's very, very good signs for this team.
And by the way, I know he trimmed his beard, but that was at least 113 kilos that he moved around in the person of Kostas Kaimakoglou. Baji makes the second shot. Back to a 30-point game. Pressure again.
And Baji gets himself into double figures.
Oh, Dur got lost for a second, then reached in for the ball and commits the foul. He's very mad at himself. He's a youngster.
But it's only their first foul they've committed in this fourth quarter, and they've managed to do that even though they've got out and trapped and they've tried to generate something from their defense.
Galathis back in
And
against that 2-3 zone.
They can really flatten off this zone now because Galathis is not going to look to take the shot in the gap there, but they've got to stop that.
Foul before the shot. Ujukas got hammered. But that's the way it should be, right?
Yeah, well, and the disappointing thing is that Galathis is not one of those guys who wants to shoot the ball in that gap at the top, so they can really flatten off. They should be able to pack the middle a little bit.
Malay Ndoye, the only player for Senegal with 4 fouls, and then you have also Hamadi Ndiaye and Pape Badji with 3 each. Lucas driving to this with his right hand. And he really had
nowhere to go.
There was really no one on the weak side. That's a turnover. Badji squares up with the basket. Dribbles. Tough shot. It's in. At least he walked in and got a little closer.
Again, they're not settling for the jump shot as much as they did in the first half. You know, I'd like to see this, if this team comes out tomorrow, tries to play a little bit more, and they're not going to be asked the same questions defensively by Puerto Rico that Greece are asking them tonight. So there could be a lot more one-on-one situations, a lot more opportunities to really, be the aggressor on the perimeter and not wait for the threes. And they will make threes. They're a better team than their 3-point shooting stats at the moment would really demonstrate. 3 from 17 or 12, yeah.
Puerto Rico ended up their loss to Argentina with only 5 assists. Senegal has 8 in this game. I think they're going to go back in the game. Lucas to the corner, no. Nice fake, the drive, it's blocked. And Senegal takes the ball. Opa. Diop on the court now. Mohamed Diop, the first time in this game. All through the perimeter. No room for Diop, and he gets fouled. No room indeed for this 33-year-old veteran, again from the UGB. And it's...
the rotation's a little late. Yakis was late.
Now we have the 5th personal foul for Ian Ujukas. He leaves with 3 points and 2 rebounds. An assist. The 14... there are 14 regions, of course, in departments, so to speak, in Senegal. And the league also has 14 teams, with the majority play in Dakar. And small details have come out, Mark, about the new format, qualifying format. Africa, according to Senegalese media, will be divided into 7 zones that together hold 11 groups. Don't ask me why there's a difference between zones and groups. That will produce 15 teams that qualify and are invited. So I guess certain groups may have more than 1 team coming in, kind of like Australia, New Zealand, a situation like that. The host nation will be the 16th team for Africa Basket. Nice rotation. There's no rush. They're just working the clock at this point with 3 minutes to go. Now, for example, Senegal will have to play in zone 2, have a home and away with Mali as the veteran making his debut. Gliniadakis makes the basket. Senegal will play Mali on home and away, and then there's another group in the same zone with Cape Verde, Guinea, and Zambia. And Cape Verde and Guinea will host the tournament. Cape Verde will not. So Cape Verde will be away for every game in that group. And then out of that group, I guess they'll select 1 or 2 qualifiers. It's unclear. The details are just beginning to dribble out how this will work. The notion, though, of having home games with your near neighbors, your rivals, that mean a lot for important positions in Africa Basket. The hope is to generate and activate basketball throughout the entire planet. Now there's a timeout. 83-54. Greece is ahead with 2:22 to go in the game.
Well, just the other thing on top of that, with the change in the whole format of the World Cup, with regular competition, with the national teams playing at home more often, that's got to be good for a home crowd to see their national team playing competitive games.
But it'll be very hard for teams without resources.
Yeah.
But by that I mean they'll have these windows throughout the year, and there'll be a premium on continuity. And I don't mean necessarily personnel, but continuity of system, of scheme. So you can plug in players in and out. This guy's going to miss that game. Well, that other is going to miss that game. As we take a look at the cheerleaders here and all the action in Sevilla. And so just to get this team together, they really had so many players to choose from. Again, Jake Sarr had the option of visiting some of these players, sitting down with Gorgijang, getting his commitment face-to-face, something that for any other team is pro forma. That was a big step for Senegal. Now what's going to happen? He still has talent, but is going to be any continuity? Will the point guard know the bigs? I don't know. It remains to be seen.
No, and it's something that the programs are going to have to adjust to in terms of how they maybe run their camps in the summer with games being played throughout the season.
A lot of dribbling by Mamadou Ndoye. 7 seconds to shoot now. Ibrahim a jump, tough shot, and it's in.
Well, that's not exactly the offense out of the book, is it? Like 7 seconds or so on the shot clock before the pass is made, and then a fall over foul line jump shot.
It's at D'Antoni's office, but on the back end, 7 seconds. It's 7 seconds to shoot, but on the other end.
On the wrong end, yeah.
Yes. That making some interesting minutes right now. He's been playing already about 4 or 5 minutes in this game. As Galates did everything he could except he raised his right hand against a right-handed shooter. Should have raised his left hand as a mirror.
So we've made the long walk now because of the penalty situation. So we're shooting free throws, and the Senegalese numbers in this second half have been good. They've been good enough that they can get in the locker room after this game and sit down and say, all right, we've arrived now. We've got over that initial nerves. We've got a big game tomorrow. We did a lot of good things in the second half. That team's going to be down. If we can start aggressively, we've got a real chance here.
We'll get on top of them. That'll be the second game tomorrow. Argentina will open up against Croatia, and the Philippines will play Greece. Greece seems to be playing every late game.
Greece, late night basketball.
That's their staple.
I think it's...
Another set shot. No good this time. Oh, nice putback. You don't see that often. Nice effort on the part of Andreas Ilianiakis.
Yeah, he'll be talking that one up against the most athletic team in the competition. I went to the offensive glass. I got my rebound.
And I scored.
Yep.
Trifecta. Tough shot and a foul. Again, it may be the game where it is. It may be the difference in the score, the time left. They're playing defense to the very end of this game.
Yeah. And again, the rule is we're going to force it to the baseline. So they force it to the baseline. Now what happens after that is down to how quickly they rotate, how quickly they force it, and the quality of who they're guarding. But they do what they do, and they're on the same page the whole time. The thing about Senegal in this, we were talking about it in the first half, they've got a little bit out of post-up options, a little bit more out there activity defensively, a little trap. They've found ways to get things that are so much better than that first half performance. And let's hope that was down to, first night nerves at the World Cup, playing against like one of the biggest names in world basketball in Greece.
And maybe even first a little bit of nerves for the coaching staff.
Yeah.
As you see them begin to pick up things in this game that may be advantageous and using them now. And it's giving the team confidence.
Well, they could get the film of this game, and before tomorrow, just take away some of those weaknesses and lapses on the weak side, and life gets a lot better. They don't give up the easy baskets. They have got to guard some great shooters on that Puerto Rican team, though.
No good. A shot by Job, and Galates is in no hurry with less than a minute to go, and the Greek fans already on their feet celebrating the win. Manziaris over the top. It belongs to Senegal.
And Greece, historically, as a team, are one of those teams that really do thrive on momentum in tournaments. They get things going and they keep them going.
Well, look at it this way. Greece faces Senegal to open, then the Philippines, which may trouble them, but certainly probably won't surprise them the way they perhaps surprised Croatia. And then they get Puerto Rico, they get the rest day, then they get Croatia, and finally they get Argentina. As we look at the timeout with Jake Saar.
Well, the numbers a little better now for Senegal, 34% from that two-point line. You know, they took half of those threes in the first half. In the first quarter, sorry. They were 0 for 7 at the end of the first quarter. So they've not taken as many bad threes. But Coach Katsikaris has done them again in preparation. He's got this Greek team on the same page. You saw a prep game when you thought their defense had really, was beginning to finalize in the way it looked, and they were just locking people down. All the parts of a Greek performance are there. Are they experienced enough? Do they have the level to be one of the top 2 teams coming out this group? Well, we're probably going to have to wait to day 5 to find that out, but it's been an impressive performance by Greece.
Quick shot, it's good. It's a three-pointer. Half a minute to go. And again, pressure to the very end by Senegal. They're beginning to get the sense of, hey, wait a minute. There's actually a 21-point lead, and Puerto Rico really took a thrashing today.
Yep.
So we need to make sure.
And an emotional thrashing as well, an emotional one.
But I think the point differential, they may think here, let's just nip it down a little bit further, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing you have to remember, if Senegal, for example, Senegal will play Argentina on the next to last day. Maybe Argentina at that point is thinking differently, thinking strategically in this tournament. They may get the win, they may want to get the win, but they don't want to get some players perhaps overextended. So it could be an interesting situation.
I think that Senegal have done enough in this second half to set themselves up as a team that is still a factor in this group. At halftime, if they'd have carried on at that level, you'd have said, right, they're the team that's going to lose to everybody. That's not the case now. They've shown enough.
But they're not going to beat Hellas. Greece wins 87-64. They take their first win, and Senegal loses a game in which they had only scored 17 points in the entire first half on 29 shots. But they were down for a minute. They picked themselves up. Halftime helped, and it also helped that Greece, of course, played a little different in the second half. Different players, different pace. But for Greece, a tremendous exhibition again of execution.
Very professional.
Not the greatest talent, but the way they execute is just something to watch, something to emulate.
Very professional. The full-time stats there. The turnover numbers much better as the game went on for Senegal. Dearly looked after the ball. Greece doesn't live by defense in terms of steals. It wears you out. And Dieng had the 21 points. Compo, that'll not be the last time you see his name in a leading scorers list.
Of course, he'll be rivaled with Gorgui Dieng in the Western Conference in adjoining states as we take a look as game leaders for both teams. Dieng with 21 points, very impressive.
Coming out good, 20 and 8. And he's like, he's a little slow, he's a little this, he's a little that. He can shoot and he plays hard.
And then you look up and he's got 20 and 8.
Absolutely.
So a tough opening match for Senegal. A few lessons learned. And the question is, what will they do against a demoralized Puerto Rican team tomorrow?
Well, there's enough in that second half for Coach Saar to talk about, this is what we did well. This is what we have to do against Puerto Rico. We can be competitive. We will not shoot the ball as badly as we did in the first half. I hope they don't come out then and start and shoot more threes. But they found a way to be effective. The defense is the big thing for me. If they can get out and press, they can get out and be active, whether it's in that little 1-2-1-1 trap, whether it's they extend their man-to-man.
And you see some shots here, Clark. Mark, when you see these shots, you wonder, are they going to be more confident taking the three tomorrow?
Well, I think they're going to be more confident.
That doesn't mean they're going to make them.
Because they've made some. And 0 for 7 was extreme. So, you know, if they're an 0 for 7 first period, and then what? They're gone like 4 from 7 for the rest of the game. They're not a 50% three-point shooting team, but only taking 14 is good news.
Here's another one. By Ndoye.
Coming onto the ball with no one really in your face, and he had good rhythm on it.
Nice pass by Niang.
Yeah.
Greece got there a little late. They weren't expecting that shot.
And it's shots in transition where you're balanced and you're looking to make take a good option. But they found a way to be a little more patient and get the ball deep.
Another way is to feed this young man.
Yeah, absolutely. We said that throughout the game, and as the game progressed, he decided he was going to get open down there. They found a way to find him. And he got help, though. That's the other thing that's important. Two other guys in double figures, Baji and Ndai gets into double figures too. So he's getting support. Have they got enough? Well, it depends. I think it's more about where are Puerto Rico. If Puerto Rico come with anything less than their A game, they're ripe for an upset. And Senegal are going to be positive enough after this to possibly cause one.
And clearly, when you talk about interior play, Senegal may have an advantage over Puerto Rico.
Well, and you'd hope they try and use it. And you'd hope they'd try and get on the glass more, because we saw a very poor performance from Puerto Rico in terms of their defensive execution, boxing out, looking to help. If they do it against these guys, it's not going to be layups, it's going to be thrown down.
And Puerto Rico may perceive a weakness in ball handling on the part of Senegal, and they'll try to exploit that. But if the ball gets near the basket, and of course, if there's a miss, it is imperative for them to put a body on a Senegalese and make sure they don't get the rebound, because they will have the hops and the numbers to do that. So we'll say good night, buenas noches to you from Sevilla.
Buenas noches, even I'm on the Spanish.
In Spain, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Here's the leaderboard at the end of one day, and a great set of games tomorrow. We hope you can join us on FIBA TV. Good night, everybody.
Να. Να. Η πρώτη πτήση της Εθνικής στο παγκόσμιο κύπελλο ήταν ιδιαίτερα υψηλή. Μαζί μας έχουμε τον Βαγγέλη Μάτζαρη. Βαγγέλη, ήταν εύκολο, εμείς το κάναμε τόσο εύκολο.
Πιστεύω ότι εμείς το κάναμε να φανεί έτσι. Μπήκαμε συγκεντρωμένα από την αρχή, χτίσαμε μια διαφορά 15 πόντων. Έπειτα στο ημίχρονο, στο δεύτερο κάλυπτο, ανέβασαμε ακόμη διαφορά. Πιέσαμε, τους βγάλαμε έξω το παιχνίδι τους και δείξαμε συγκεντρωμένοι για το μεγαλύτερο χρονικό διάστημα.
Τέτοια πρεμέρα αλλάζει τον τρόπο που αντιμετωπίζουμε τα υπόλοιπα μάτς.
Πιστεύω ότι δεν πρέπει να μας αποπροσανατολίσει αυτό το μάτς. Ξέραμε ότι πρεμιέρες κρύβουν κινδύνους. Είδαμε πριν τι έγινε με τις Φιλιππίνες και την Κροατία που κρίθηκε το μάτς σε παράταση. Οπότε ήμασταν υποψιασμένοι από το πρωί. Και γι' αυτό είπαμε συγκεντρωμένοι για να πάρουμε αυτό το μάτς.
Αυτά τα αποτελέσματα μας αφύπνισαν ή το γεγονός ότι είμαστε σε υψηλό βαθμό ετοιμότητας?
Πιστεύω και τα δύο παίζουν σημαντικό ρόλο. Και ότι, όπως είπα και πριν, στις πρεμιέρες γίνονται πάρα πολλές εκπλήξεις, όπως είδαμε και με τις Φιλιππίνες που είπατε και εσείς. Και ότι από την αρχή είπαμε 40 λεπτά συγκεντρωμένοι, δεν παίρνουμε κανένα μάτς χαλαρά. Πρέπει να είμαστε 40 λεπτά. Κουραστήκαμε 30 μέρες προετοιμασίας για να φτάσουμε εδώ πέρα και τώρα που φτάσαμε να τα δώσουμε όλα σε κάθε αγώνα, σε κάθε λεπτό.
Οι Φιλιππίνες έδειξαν πως είναι μια ομάδα με φοβερή ενέργεια και καρδιά. Εμείς προλαβαίνουμε να ξεκουραστούμε και να έχουμε την ίδια ενέργεια αύριο?
Εντάξει, σίγουρα το ότι παίζουμε το βράδυ, αυτό που παίζαμε το πρωί θα είναι ένα θετικό για αυτούς. Αλλά παρόλα αυτά, σε τέτοια μάτς και σε τέτοιες οργανώσεις δεν παίζει ρόλο τόσο μεγάλη κούραση, γιατί παίζει και πολύ σημαντικό ποιος θέλει να κερδίσει. Είναι μια ομάδα που γυρνάνε πολύ καλά την μπάλα, παίζουν καλό μπάσκετ, έχουν και τον κόσμο το μέρος τους. Αλλά παρόλα αυτά, εμείς πάμε να κερδίσουμε και να είμαστε συγκεντρωμένοι όπως και σήμερα.
Εσύ ξεπέρασες την ίωση,
εντάξει, δεν είμαι 100% έτοιμος, αλλά είμαι καλύτερα ευτυχώς. Δόξα τω Θεώ.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Να είστε καλά.
Ιάκωβε, ο λόγος σε σένα. Okay.